Now that we are getting ourselves ready to watch the 11th episode of Yellowstone Season 5 tonight, it is only natural that we should look at the world through Beth's perspective. Now that John has passed away, Kelly Riley is undoubtedly the most important person in the show, and we have a tendency to believe that there are some fairly significant storylines that are worth presenting with her at the heart of the program. Of course, we are already aware that she is going to do everything in her power to find answers regarding John's death, but it is far simpler to say that she will do so than it is to actually carry out her plan. In the first place, one of the most important things that Beth is going to have to do in this situation is to take a step back, analyze the situation, and come to the conclusion that she is not the appropriate person to be in charge of an inquiry. Despite the fact that she is an excellent planner, she has such a short fuse that everyone would be able to anticipate her arrival. It is possible that in order for her to gain a better understanding of all of this, she will need to become more dependent on Case or negotiate with some other local players in the town. In the meantime, she must also come to the realization that stopping Jamie is only one piece of the jigsaw. This is about a great deal more than simply removing John from the equation. It is about the land, which is the subject of the show for practically the whole of its run. You just need to be conscious of the fact that there is an almost constant set of individuals out there who are willing to exploit it in whatever form they can. In addition, you need to find out what it is that is worth retaining, or if there is a way that you can pivot for your business while still having the ranch. Within the realm of the show, we are witnessing a model for it in the form of the 6666, which has a multitude of marketing prospects. It is possible that in order to survive, you will need to forge your own path away from the ranch. What is it that you are most looking forward to seeing in the 11th episode of Yellowstone Season 5? Make sure to share right now in the comments section that is attached. Once you have accomplished that, continue to check back, because there are other upgrades on the way. At the same time as we are getting ourselves ready for the 11th episode of Yellowstone Season 5 on Paramount Network, there is a great deal to think about. After all, there are a great number of problems to which we do not yet have definitive answers in light of this. Let's talk about the blackout, shall we? For a brief minute, let us contemplate the information that we currently possess, despite the fact that some of the details presented here are very restricted. Before John Dutton passed away, there was a blackout that was first implemented, and it was not rectified until a considerable amount of time had passed following his passing. The event took place at a time late in the evening when nobody would have noticed it. All of this gives rise to suspicion, doesn't it? Now, let's just go ahead and ask the following question that we have here. I am curious as to why there is not more conversation taking place at this very moment. I have the impression that this is the kind of thing that the investigators are missing, whether it is due to complacency, corruption, or simple stupidity. The fact that this is such a high-profile death in the governor of the state is another factor to take into consideration. Additionally, Beth is of the opinion that he would never have intentionally hurt himself in any way. It is well knowledge that Beth and Case are currently engaged in a fervent search for answers and for evidence to demonstrate that John's death was, in fact, the result of a murder. We believe that we are going to witness a story that unfolds in a manner that is unrelenting, despite the fact that there is still a long way to go before we can obtain answers to this question. Due to the fact that there are only 4 episodes left, does it not seem reasonable to assume that things are going to become quite outrageous? When everything is taken into account, don't they have to be? This might not be the conclusion of the series, but it ought to be the conclusion of the story that we have been following over the course of time. As the 11th episode of Yellowstone Season 5 approaches, we are aware that there is a great deal to be excited about, interested about, and also concerned about. On the other hand, are there going to be any other hints regarding the passing of John Dutton? Are Beth going to get any closer to understanding it? As a matter of fact, one of the intriguing aspects of this narrative is that if Beth is successful in bringing Jamie down, she might find herself in a position that she has not been in for the most of the series, one in which she does not have to keep her guard up all the time. It is true that Kelly Reilly is intrigued by that particular aspect, and it is possible that this is one of the aspects that would be the most interesting about a potential 6th season. When the actress was speaking in a new interview with Collider, she mentioned that moving into episode 11 and beyond, there were opportunities for her to do some other things. This causes us to be more than intrigued about what the future may store for her. I really enjoyed this season. Because there were a lot of other territories to investigate, I'm not going to cling to her. Putting her back in her padlocked box is something I am pleased to do. Without a doubt, I am curious about Beth and the person she has become as a result of the events that have transpired. Who is she that is at peace? It's like, oh, let me take care of that when you're an actor. The actual question is, what is the holdup with the season 6? To tell you the truth, it might be as straightforward as the fact that Paramount wants to wait until the rest of the season is over before disclosing much more. It is possible that they are trying to establish something that is quite distinct in both appearance and sensation, and if they reveal too much information at this time, they would be giving away something that is rather significant. It is very evident that they do not wish to take that risk, and since the beginning of the series, they have been cautious about a significant portion of it. In the beginning of the second half of Yellowstone Season 5, there was a feeling of dissatisfaction regarding the number of episodes. This is something that should be known. As a matter of fact, a number of us had the expectation that there would be more than simply 6 episodes to conclude the story after Kevin Costner's departure. The only thing that we are going to receive is a total of 6 episodes, and even though there is a possibility that there could be a 6th season of the show, there is every indication that it will be visually and orally distinct from anything that we have ever had the opportunity to witness before. This is the only genuine silver lining that we can offer you in the meanwhile, and it is that you are going to receive a lengthier runtime for some of these episodes that are still to come. This includes the 11th episode, which will air this coming weekend. According to the official schedule of the Paramount Network, it is anticipated that this episode will take you approximately 76 minutes to watch, taking into account the advertisements that will be shown. At this point, it is the longest one of Season 5 billion that has been produced up to this point, and it would not surprise us if it were to be surpassed before the conclusion of the series. After all, just take a moment to consider everything that the series needs to complete in order to be considered complete. In addition to the fact that we are going to see more of the aftermath of John's death, it is highly likely that Beth and Case will do anything they can to bring you closer to the truth. In the meantime, Jamie and Market Equities might get closer to accomplishing some of their own objectives, particularly in the case that he is successful in becoming the governor. From this point forward, it is highly likely that each and every episode will be a powerful one. Not only that, but they should also provide hints about what potential spin-offs or continuations could be.